Hello, everyone. Today we're going to talk about, today's our last day talking about invasive species, and the topic is how they affect biodiversity. Before I go any further, you're probably wondering why I'm wearing this wig. It is Crazy Hair Day. Yes. So if you weren't in class, you missed out on my really cool green hair for the day. But anyway, today's warm-up question is, how might invasive species, like zebra mussels, affect the biodiversity of an ecosystem? So the question is really asking about invasive species and how they affect biodiversity. Just to help you out, I gave you this food web, which is what we looked at in lesson 15, our last lesson. And when we looked at this food web, we talked about how zebra mussels affect the food web. Today, I want to know, how might invasive species like zebra mussels affect the biodiversity of an ecosystem? Is the biodiversity going to go up? Is it going to go down, or is it going to stay the same? So for this warm-up, just give me your best guess, and as always, avoid using Google. I just want to know what you think. All right, so today's agenda, we just did the warm-up. Next, we're going to very quickly recap the Hudson River, and then we're going to do a reading on biodiversity and ecosystems. And then lastly, we will do our exit slide. So the focus question for today is, how did the zebra mussel initially affect the health and biodiversity of the Hudson River ecosystem? The learning target is, I can explain how invasive species affect the biodiversity of an ecosystem. All right, so very quickly, the Hudson River invasion. So last class, we talked about how zebra mussels invaded the Hudson River. And remember, zebra mussels are an invasive species that arrived in the Great Lakes in 1988. They arrived in a lake pretty close to Detroit, and very quickly they took over the whole Great Lakes system. Now, scientists were already studying the Hudson River in 1986, and so they were still studying the Hudson River in 1988 when zebra mussels were discovered in the Great Lakes. So scientists decided to continue studying the Hudson River for many years to come, because they knew it was only a matter of time before zebra mussels arrived in the Hudson River, because the Hudson River is connected to the Great Lakes through rivers and canals. So last class, we looked at the data that the scientists collected. So they collected data that shows how the river changed after the arrival of zebra mussels. So really quickly, we're going to watch a video. In this video, the scientists are going to talk about the results that they saw, the changes in the ecosystem that they saw. There's nothing absolutely critical that we need to know from this video. This video is just really important background information. It's telling us a little bit more about what these scientists think of the data we looked at last class. So we will go ahead and watch that. All right. So one thing that I find interesting from this video is that the scientists observed 12% less dissolved oxygen in the water. And they provided two reasons for that. One is not surprising, but the other I find, I guess, not surprising either. But one I find more interesting. So the first reason is that the zebra mussels, because there's so many zebra mussels and they have to breathe, they're taking up a lot of the oxygen that's in the water. So 500 billion zebra mussels, you can imagine, you can only imagine how much oxygen they might need. But, well, so that's one reason that oxygen is decreasing in the water. The second reason is that zebra mussels eat phytoplankton. And phytoplankton, if you remember, phytoplankton are microscopic or really, really, really small plants. So these really, really, really small plants, these really, really small phytoplankton, add oxygen to the water. But zebra mussels are filter feeders, and so they filter out phytoplankton from the water, meaning there's less phytoplankton to add oxygen to the water. So those are the two reasons that we are seeing less dissolved oxygen. All right, so next we are going to read an article called Zebra Mussels Invade. This is on Google Classroom. It's called Lesson 16, Zebra Mussels Invade Article Questions. And I'm not going to read the article here. You can read the article by yourself and answer the questions. Or you can listen to, I will make an audio file that you can listen to if you would rather have me read it to you. There's one thing that I want to note on this worksheet, as you read the article, I want you to annotate the article. So just like 2 classes ago, annotating means leave a comment about something you find interesting or highlighting any words that you don't understand. And so I want you to annotate the article at least 3 times. So write at least 3 comments or highlight 3 words that you don't know, or some combination of that. And then after each section of the article are questions for you to answer. And you can answer those right in the Google Doc. Okay, the very last thing on today's agenda was the exit slip. So here is the exit slip. It is 3 questions. The first question is, consider the statement, a small change to one factor can lead to large changes in an ecosystem. If the zebra mussel is considered a small change, do you think this statement is accurate? Explain your answer. So if you think zebra mussels are a small change, do you think they lead to large changes in an ecosystem? What do you think? Number 2 is, what organisms does the zebra mussel compete with in the Hudson River and Great Lakes? How has the competition of the zebra mussels affected the biodiversity of the Hudson River and Great Lakes ecosystems? Right? Question number 2 has 2 questions in it. Make sure you're answering both questions. And number 3, an invasive species is a species that is brought from its native area to a new place where it causes harm to the environment, the economy, or human health. Scientists consider the zebra mussel an invasive species in North America. What evidence supports this? Right? As you answer these exit slip questions, please make sure you are writing in complete sentences so that I can see you're thinking very clearly. And as always, if you have any questions, you can leave a private comment on Google Classroom, and I will get to your comment as soon as I can. Right? Good luck, and I will see you guys next time.